Have you ever wanted to keep your Pokemon's feet on the ground? Make the game feel a bit more like Dark Souls? Or maybe just establish a stronger bond with your starter? Then this challenge is for you. I'll be trying to beat the game with just one Tepig. The rules are, I can only use my starter, I cannot evolve my starter, no using items in battle, held items are okay though, no glitches, and even though I can't really control my level, I'll also be trying to keep it as low as possible. For some added challenge. But why Tepig and not Totodile or Chikorita? I actually think that Totodile would make for a stronger attacker overall, but Tepig has something the other two don't. Will-O-Wisp. Since Pokémon Z-A doesn't use turn-based combat, status effects like Poison and Burn can be used to cheese some fights. That, the move Dig, decent coverage, and the highest base HP stat of the three makes Tepig a promising choice for this challenge. So, first up, we need to find ourselves a Tepig willing to take on the task. Meet Pumpkin. Pumpkin's got great IVs and an optimistic courage that almost makes me feel bad about the rest of this video. Almost. Alright. So first of all, I mean this fight, obviously, it's pretty easy. Hit him with a tail whip. Hit him with a tackle. Yeah, some of these early fights aren't that different, but trust me, it gets a lot worse. With that and a few other quick fights out of the way, it's time for the first real trainer, Zach the Driver. Bunnelby. I should have maybe equipped a Citrus Berry. Oh no, not Earth Power. Okay. Even with a 5 level advantage, Pumpkin's attacks barely made a dent, and on top of that, it introduced one of the biggest threats to this entire challenge. Tracking moves. It's not an official move category, but basically any move that either can't be dodged or has such a tight window to that I can't rely on it. I could try dodging against all the other moves and protecting against just Earth Power, but since Protect's cooldown is longer, that would only work about half the time. Oh, and I should mention, on the way here I also grabbed the TM for Dig. Easily the most versatile move of this challenge, being an attack, a dodge, and a way to safely pass time all in one. More on that later though. After a few feints, I learned that being closer to the Pokemon can affect what attacks they use. In this case, that meant Bunnelby cycling through all of its attacks and not just spamming Earth Power. Between that, a lucky burn from Ember, and Pumpkin's mole-like tendencies, the first boss went down. Sorry, Zach. As a reward, I got a Tepig-themed makeover to really emphasize the bond we share, and I filled my bag with as many of Pumpkin's favorite treats as I could. Citrus berries, the only thing allowing us to heal until much later. The Yvonne fight was pretty easy. She mostly had fairy-type moves, which Pumpkin resists, so I let him channel his inner wheel, and we didn't even need the berry. Now entering Rank X, our next fight was against Zavi, and with a bug-themed t-shirt, I wasn't expecting much. Okay. No! Funny that it used takedown after I said that. Oh, don't, Thunderfang. No! Yep. Actually, this is where things started getting difficult. Zavi was the first trainer to have a team of 4, and one extra Pokemon really makes a difference when you only get one small heal per fight. The first 3 aren't that bad, and making it to Phase 4, yes, I'll be calling them phases and bosses now, is simple. The problem is getting there with enough HP to survive. After some trial and error, I figured out that since Venipede always leads with spikes, Fire Spin is a great way to get it low before finishing it off with any other move. Kadabra was also slow to set up, but it hit like a truck, so rushing it down before it could attack worked well. And same with Roselia. And then there was Furfur, tanky enough to survive a few attacks and strong enough that I couldn't take many myself. Luckily making it here with good HP and a berry intact was enough, but just barely. Get out of there. Get out of there. Follow me. Follow me into the fire. I don't know what to do here. I think I'm gonna die in one hit. Get out of there. I have an idea. As soon as it attacks. Yo! Pumpkin! Let's go! Only 3 feints. That's not too bad. Next up was Lita, and with a mostly water-type team, I figured now would be a great time for Pumpkin to learn a new move. You can get the TM for Wild Charge here on the map, and all you have to do is... Okay, maybe from over here? I actually tried this method for a while. But unfortunately, you can't get up this building until unlocking Glide or a specific elevator side mission. I didn't end up needing it, only fainting to Lita once since, you know, Wild Charge was the friends we made along the way. I'll be back for it later though. For our next rank up fight, the elemental monkeys are back. The last game they were available in, other than Pokemon Go, was X and Y 13 years ago, meaning most Pokemon can now be caught and transferred to home from just the Switch, except for Spinda for complicated reasons. Anyways, I figured out that if a Pokemon has Protect, the AI will hesitate to attack so that it can counter yours. To take advantage of this, I used Fire Spin right off the bat. The initial damage gets blocked, but Pansage goes down to the lingering effect. Phase 2 was the hard part. Panpour's water attacks did a lot of damage, but weren't too hard to dodge as long as I kept Panpour around the center of the arena. That, and I also figured out that when you use a ranged move, your Pokemon will move to your right side before attacking. So the strategy was dodge Water Gun, and then wait to use a move until Bubble Beam's angle was decided since it's the slower of the two. I didn't really need it, but I did get the 10% chance burn in one of the fights, which definitely sped things up. Final phase, final monkey. Okay, now it's gonna be a fire type, which is fine. Like, I think this is gonna cause it to protect, right? But then it should run out before it comes up, good. And then we protect the bite and then run. Don't get hit by the ember, let's go. Wait for its protect to go off of cooldown, and then I can bait it into protecting early instead of attacking. Because I'm pretty sure if its protect is up, when I attack, it will automatically use it, and therefore get hit by the dig, because it's too early. Is the perfect plan. Just wait a little bit longer. I can do this completely risk-free. Yeah, look, watch. There's the protect. Yes! Yes! I understand the game! But not all was well for our intrepid Tepig, for you see, AZ did not believe in his power and forced me to use a Lucario when faced with Rogue Mega Evolution. This won't be a problem going forward, but sadly there was nothing I could do about it since it's a tutorial. I tried running, I tried dying, and I even tried asking for help. But there's no getting around it. Pumpkin needs to... Oh, well, never mind then. Good job, Pumpkin. Two things about this next Tawny fight. One, you're required to bring Absol, but I can just forfeit if Pumpkin dies, so Absol will never actually see combat. Two, if you die or forfeit, the game does not let you retry the fight, which is a bit frustrating. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but don't worry, I did come up with a way to avoid that for the final rival battle later. After that, I took a slight detour to grab Pumpkin's signature move, Will-O-Wisp. Now, Pumpkin finally has a way to guarantee burn, allowing for all sorts of stall strategies in the future. Fire types are still immune, but with Dig and eventually Head Smash being super effective, that's not really a problem. I also experimented with another new move, Roar, to see if I could cheese some fights by pushing enemies away, but it didn't really go anywhere, just kind of annoyed some Dedenne bouncers. Okay, let's talk about Vinny. Vinny's not just another rank up fight. Beating him lets you skip all the way from rank V to F. He's our first taste of those higher ranks, and he does not disappoint. It was brutal. 4 phases, with the final phase being a Mega Evolution, something Pumpkin could only dream of. Houndoom's not too bad. It leads with Fire Spin, so I dig right away and only take the first tick of damage. Then, after dodging and waiting for an opening, another dig is enough to take it down. But not without some HP loss. Next up is Sharpedo, and, well... Now this... Oh no, not Whirlpool. And it has Aqua Jet? No! Wait, what am I supposed to do? Come on, get out. No! Whirlpool, run! Run! Run, little pumpkin! No! Okay, here's the question. Can I stay out of range? Nope. That's right. 2 water-type tracking moves. Aqua Jet only has a 3-second cooldown, and Whirlpool gets a hit in whether I protect or not, meaning stall strats weren't even an option. Actually, you know what move would be nice here? You're really gonna make me do it, aren't you, Vinny? Alright, Pumpkin, have some candy. After some regretful leveling, Pumpkin was now level 42 and could one-shot Houndoom, saving precious HP on the first phase. And he finally had enough damage to stand against Sharpedo. Okay, use Dig. Whirlpool's gonna hit you, but that's fine. No, the Protect didn't go. Oh, I took it down with the takedown! Wait, we got this. Takedown is so strong, apparently. Oh, that thing is easy. Oh, never mind. It has quick attack. Why would they do that? Why would they put quick attack on it? Oh, no. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. It's gonna burn. It's fine. We'll make it to the last Pokemon. Maybe the last Pokemon has nothing that can hit us. I'm at 6 HP. Please. Have mercy. Do not have quick attack. If I can dodge it long enough to learn all its moves, there may be hope. Alright. No lock-on moves. Safeguard. That's good. Icy Wind is a lock-on move. How dare you? Okay, that wasn't great. What if I... Okay, protect the Icy Wind. Twister is another lock-off move. Honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. And to add insult to injury, it also starts each fight using Safeguard, making Will-O-Wisp completely useless. Each time I tried the fight, I refined the first 3 phases and got to Drampa with more HP, but the gap between him and Pumpkin was just too wide. And so it was that Pumpkin was forged in the flames of Vinny. Until finally, at level 50, way higher than I had any intention to be at this point in the game, Pumpkin was able to pull it off. Okay. The damage is better. The damage is actually enough. I think we're gonna make it. Hold on. Oh, let's go. Level 50 Pumpkin was able to defeat Vinny. The nice thing is, this was inevitable. From here on, things only get more difficult, even with the extra levels. If I didn't do this now, I'm pretty sure I would have needed to eventually, and I can at least say that this was the only time XP candies were needed for the entire challenge. Now in Rank F, we're further briefed on the outbreak of rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon, something I originally thought would be a roadblock with just one Tepig. But since all your teammates are apparently rich and can afford infinite revives, you can just recall your Pokemon and dodge the entire time, letting them do all the damage. This strategy guarantees success, but it does take a long time, so when it felt safe I had Pumpkin attack, which probably saves about a minute each time. The only other thing of note is that to my knowledge your teammate isn't actually able to deal the last bit of damage, so Pumpkin still gets all the glory. And it has for a while. Yes, Pumpkin, let's go! You can't believe you, Pumpkin, you soloed that entire boss. Camerupt took 25 minutes, Victory Bell took 20 minutes, and Slowbro took 15 minutes, meaning first place goes to Pumpkin! Once those were done, I went back to Hotel Z and completely forgot there was a Zygarde fight. I may have been a little overconfident. Alright. I forgot about this fight. Pumpkin, you got this. Oh, Pumpkin, you totally got this. This is easy. It's only one Pokemon. You've been fighting like 4 Pokemon. Oh, no. Bulldoze, huh? It just keeps using Haze over and over. It's so intimidating. I thought this was going to be easy, but it's actually so... Oh, get rid of her! Oh, I got this. No, that's not enough. Run! Using Dragon Breath. Get out of there. Oh, let's go. First try. I can't believe how close that was. After that, I infiltrated the Canatics fan club so I could fight Canary. This is Grandpa. His whole team is ground type, so I thought this would be rough, but one feint was actually enough to figure it out. Hippowdon starts with Amnesia, giving me an opening to use Will-O-Wisp. From there, it's just a matter of dodging all the moves and protecting against its only tracking move, Heavy Slam. And even when they did hit, it was only for half damage because of burn. Phase 1, Hippowdon. Phase 2 gives Dig another chance in the spotlight. I've shown how effective it can be against Protect, but it's even better against itself or similar moves like Bounce, which Diggersby has. Because the moves take the same amount of time to use, as long as you start yours second, not only does it dodge theirs, but it also gets a guaranteed hit. All of Diggersby's other moves were dodgeable, so between the burn and guaranteed hits, it was only a matter of time. Which brings us to Phase 3, Mega Excadrill. As long as it doesn't have something like Quick Attack or like Bullet Punch. Oh, hold. Dig. Yes! Run! Don't get hit by Rock Slide. Nice. Ooh, that is precarious. Hold on. Yes, let's go, Pumpkin! Okay, now we can fight Canary. On my first attempt, I actually made it all the way to the final phase. Pumpkin had enough damage to brute force the first 3, but the real challenge was getting there with enough HP. Phase 1 was pretty free. Helios always led with Bulldoze, which is easy to dodge, and gave enough time to dig for a one-shot. I then came up with a simple strategy to get past Ampharos without taking any damage, but the execution was tough and killed most of my attempts. Ooh, don't know! I ran into a wall. Basically, just use Will-O-Wisp when it uses Cotton Guard, and then run around in circles dodging the various beam moves, especially Gem Blast. Positioning is important here because every third attack it uses Discharge instead, which is a shorter range and can cause it to stray from the center. Tough as it was, this phase taught me a lot about dodging and movement that definitely ended up helping later. For phase 3, Stunfisk also had a setup move that Pumpkin could use Will-O-Wisp during, and a much easier moveset to dodge while Burn chipped away. The energetic music in the background is killing me. It's so funny with what I'm doing as the main thing. Sounds like Mega Man music and I'm just running around stalling something to death. Okay, this is really good. This is a really good run. I might have this. Can I get a dig off before you? No, I can't target it while it's not Mega Evolved because it's scripted. All right, if I'm close enough, apparently if I'm far away, the AI attacks first, but if I'm close enough, it tries to use a close ranged move first, which is Eerie Impulse, and it does no damage. So because I'm close, I'm sorry, what? You're not supposed to do that. What are you doing? There's the Eerie Impulse. Oh, let's go, Pumpkin! Alright, I didn't fully understand Electros by the end, but nearly full HP and a berry in the final phase was enough regardless. It took an hour, kinda on the low end actually compared to some fights coming up, but we finally beat Canary. I wonder what she thinks about that.
What the f?
Oh, well, we also unlocked Glide and in turn Wild Charge, another great coverage move that would have been useful sooner. Then, after another 3 Mega Evolution fights, one of which took 40 minutes, we get to the next major trainer, Canary. Again. I forgot to change Pumpkin's moves, so it was a little bit chaotic, but having just learned all her patterns, I managed it first try. Canary kindly told us where our next real opponent was, and Pumpkin phoned a friend to freeze this fountain so we could get into the sewers and face off against Gwyn. For phase 1, Banette used Heal Block, preventing Citrus Berry from working and effectively reducing Pumpkin's HP by 20%. In phase 2, Pumpkin was turned into a ghost type by Trick or Treat, and finally, Chandelure protected against Head Smash and used the now super effective Shadow Ball to finish him off. This fight wasn't that hard and only took one more try, but the combination of status moves was really interesting. It definitely could have been worse though. Or it definitely will be worse, because her brother Ivor is up next. If Canary was an introduction to dodging, Ivor was the master class, because this fight took a while. I'm so sorry, Pumpkin. Phase 1, Heracross leads with Rock Blast, which is easy enough to dodge, giving Pumpkin time to use Flare Blitz for a one-shot. Phase 2 brings Machamp, the most challenging Pokemon so far in the challenge. Since all of Machamp's moves are close-ranged attacks, the AI goes through them in a predictable pattern. Bulldoze, Brick Break, Brutal Swing. But despite the AI treating Bulldoze and Brutal Swing as close-ranged moves, they have a much larger radius, especially as plus moves. I haven't talked about plus moves so far, but you can use a bar of this meter in the bottom right to empower a move. Offensively, it's a way for Pumpkin to deal more damage to, or potentially one-shot problematic phases. Defensively, they hit harder, they get larger, and Pumpkin takes damage through Protect, including status effects, which brings us back to Machamp. Since Bulldoze is the first attack it uses, even though Pumpkin sets the burn during bulk up, I wasn't always able to make a clean getaway afterwards, and Bulldoze was usually a plus move. Through Protect, the damage wasn't too bad, but the secondary effect of Bulldoze was a run killer. It caused a slow, making it impossible to dodge any other moves until the debuff went away, which was more than enough time for Machamp to chase down poor little Pumpkin. So then, with the odds against us, Pumpkin and I did the only thing we could do. Much like any Souls boss, we observed the patterns and adapted. I learned that dodging Machamp's attacks got easier around the edges of the arena, so I started timing Machamp's moves to make Brick Break always happen at the corners, and the straightaways were for Bulldoze and Brutal Swing. I also noticed that Machamp used Bulk Up off cooldown, interrupting its normal move rotation. And with some trial and error, I found that if Machamp was able to attack quickly, Bulk Up would always happen after its second Brutal Swing, giving me a much better window to avoid any counterattacks. Even with this strategy, Machamp killed a ton of attempts, but it did get way more consistent. Anyways, next up is Medicham, who's easy enough to take down. Since it has Protect, Pumpkin can start with Dig, followed by a Flare Blitz, and only take one hit. But in an effort to conserve as much HP as possible, I started to bait out its first move, Zen Headbutt, which did the most damage. Then, Pumpkin only had to take the ironically not Rock-type move, Rock Smash. Final phase, Mega Phalanx. This thing dealt way too much damage for Pumpkin to take safely, but luckily it did start with a setup move, giving us a chance. The move that allowed the fight to be possible, though, only made it that much harder. No Retreat turned Phalanx into a brick wall and basically negated the half damage from burn. So, I decided it was time for Pumpkin to get another power spike. But not from levels this time, no. It was finally time for Pumpkin's EV training. For those who don't know, EVs, or effort values, are a hidden stat that your Pokemon gains every time they defeat another Pokemon. Pumpkin did unfortunately level once from all the Skidoo he fainted, but try not to hold it against him. Here's what the stats would have looked like if he hadn't. That's a 17 increase to attack and a 33 increase to HP. Not bad, Pumpkin. We went back to Ivor and died a bunch, until, after hours of training, learning, and growing as trainer in Pokemon. It used Rock Slide again? How dare? I don't understand what was making it use the other move. Oh, just run. I dodged it somehow. I don't even know how that's possible. Run, get out of there. Yes! Yes, Pumpkin! Let's go! It was a mess. I don't know why it didn't use No Retreat at the start, and I have no idea how I only just now dodged Rock Slide, but they can't all be perfect. And even though the final phase wasn't as clean as the first three, the fight was won, and the new knowledge well earned. After a fight that difficult, it was nice to sit down, relax, and learn about Tawny's debt with some local loan sharks. On my way to investigate, Pumpkin melted some guy's all-steel type team, and then we sold our souls to Corbeau. But while Team MZ was taking down some rogue Mega Evolutions for me, Pumpkin and I had our own business to attend to. Side Mission 68. The fight itself was just 3 phases, all with the move Dig, and we know how that goes. But the reward forever changed this challenge. It's time for Leftovers. Leftovers is our second and final usable healing item. It heals 1/16 HP every 10 seconds, meaning if a fight goes on for 40 seconds after taking damage, it's at least as good as the Citrus Berry. More importantly though, it has no limit. So if I found a phase that was 100% dodgeable, it could in theory be used to full heal Pumpkin and act as a sort of HP checkpoint in the fight. Back to the matter of Tawny's debt, it's time to face Corbeau. Corbeau has a poison type team which is weak to Dig, and 2 of them are also weak to Fire, and Gyarados. But don't worry, because Wild Charge solves that too. Phase 1, Arbok leads with Toxic, which would put the fight on a timer, so that needs to be protected since it's a tracking move. And then a plus Dig one-shots. Phase 2 is Gyarados, and Pumpkin does one-shot it with Wild Charge, but Waterfall's hitbox was so big that I couldn't dodge it, and it makes contact first, meaning Pumpkin takes damage from that, plus recoil. Roserade is another one-shot with Flare Blitz, and the reason I don't have Leftovers here is because without the Citrus Berry, Pumpkin would have died to the recoil. With Arbok's Toxic, Gyarados' Waterfall, and Roserade's Giga Drain all having guaranteed hits, there wasn't a chance to get those much-needed 40 seconds. The final phase, Mega Scolipede, is fully dodgeable, so if I did make it here with Leftovers, Pumpkin could full heal. But since he doesn't have enough HP to handle the recoil of his own moves, and Dig's recovery time is too slow to dodge a counterattack, it just wasn't possible. So I guess the question is, how could I get here with Leftovers then? Most of the damage taken was from Gyarados, but I'd have to find a way to dodge the Waterfall. Well, turns out Pumpkin's been hiding one last secret rock type move from us. Hide. Where he hides behind some rocks. As Gyarados is spawning in, there's actually just enough time to get Pumpkin behind these rocks, and Waterfall's hitbox isn't able to reach. After the Waterfall, it immediately uses Bounce, but unfortunately since Gyarados is part flying, I can't counter with Dig. It doesn't do too much damage though, so Pumpkin can tank it and counter with the Wild Charge, leaving him with significantly more HP than even the Citrus Berry offered. By the way, if you're ever wondering about the level difference in the footage, these fights sometimes took hours, and this one in particular had 28 feints, so some XP each time is unfortunately unavoidable. Now, with a mouthful of Apple Core, Pumpkin was ready to try again. I don't know what its stats are. I gotta check that after. After one attempt. Oh, okay, Earthquake dodge. That's the big one. Okay. Okay. Use a plus dig. Bait the protect. Oh, Pumpkin! Let's go! Oh! After settling Tawny's debts, word finally started to get around about Pumpkin and I's climb to the top. Our reputation even got us an invite to the exclusive Society of Battle Connoisseurs. Of course, to show up as I was would be foolish, but my new style required a battle with the fashion designer herself. It's not grass. It looks like it would be grass, but it's not grass. So we're not using a fire move. Oh wait, what? Is grass? I don't know what I'm talking about. Good job, Pumpkin. You really held your own there. Oh! What? I must defeat the Florges with a Mega Evolved Pokemon. Simply winning is not enough. Wait, what? Great. With my new suit, we met Jacinthe and got invited to a tournament against everyone I've faced so far. But that would have to wait, because 3 more Rogue Mega Evolutions popped up. Pumpkin and I watched our teammates neutralize the threat, and we all went back to Hotel Z to celebrate. Which Jacinthe did not like. She not only sent her enforcers to politely invite us back to the tournament, but she even set a trap for me and Pumpkin specifically. Before fighting LeBon, the game forces you to fight her 2 lackeys, each with 2 Pokemon. Neither is particularly tough, but a lapse in focus could still cause a feint. Luckily, there's a heal provided between each fight, so that wasn't a concern either. On my first attempt, Pumpkin cleared Phase 1 and feinted to Tyrantrum. No worries though, just gotta start the fight again and this time dodged Noivern's Super Fang, which took almost half Pumpkin's HP. Just gotta start the fight again. Before fighting LeBon, the game forces you to watch a cutscene and fight her 2 lackeys, each with 2 Pokemon. On average, this took about 5 minutes between Pumpkin fainting and getting back to the start of the LeBon fight, making this longer than even some of the worst Dark Souls boss runbacks. Each death was an exercise in patience and was pushing my mind rather than my reflexes. Whatever fundamentals I had were refined, I learned new ways to dodge moves, and I started taking each attempt more seriously. Then, 2 hours, but only 12 feints later, it all came together. Okay. Lock in. I almost forget sometimes that this is the fight. Hyper Fang plus rollout. Hyper Fang plus rollout. There you go. There you go. There you go. Nice. Run. Run! Okay, that's hitless. Easy. Easily done. Now, no. I gotta get as far away as I can. As far away as I can. Don't forget going to the corner. And then use dig. That might... No, that doesn't dodge. Okay, fair enough. Instantly use rollout, which dodges the rock slide. Good. Now we're all the way over here, and I can dodge... I can actually dodge the earthquake? Oh! That's huge. That's huge. Okay, now get the burn. And then get ready to protect that. And then plus dig. Oh, snap, and I dodged the earthquake. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. I just have to protect against the water. If I could protect against the water and then use dig, who knows? Maybe I one-shot. Maybe this is the run. My heart is beating like a drum, man. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh wait, it has protect. It has protect. I think I can use dig immediately because it tries to block against protect. There's no way. Let's go! Yes! That was my last attempt of the night. That was the literal last attempt of the night. I was about to play a different game. After escaping Laban, me and Pumpkin were out for revenge. Jacinthe wanted us at her tournament? Fine. None of my previous rivals had changed much, so with all the same strategies as before and a few improvements here and there, we took down each trainer with ease. Zygarde too, for some reason, who actually was extremely tanky and barely took any damage from moves, so Will-O-Wisp made a return and I even broke its AI somehow. Protect against Land's Wrath? It's not using Land's Wrath? What happened the first time? Why was it spamming Land's Wrath? Wait, I'm infinitely leading it. What the heck? I'm just holding the stick at a slight angle and I think I've got it in a loop. It's stuck. Let's go. Then at last, Jacinthe. Jacinthe was the first 5-phase boss of the game, but Pumpkin and I were ready. Our fighting instincts honed to the next level from all those 5-minute runbacks. Okay, Stealth Rock is fine. Somehow I dodged the Stone Edge. We have to be very careful about that going forward. This is good. Is a plus dig kind of situation. Give us the protect. Easy, plus dig is a one-shot. Okay, now plus Flame Wheel is probably enough here to one-shot. It totally is. Let's go. I mean, why not keep up the momentum? Let's do like a dig into a plus head smash. Or even better. Yeah, just take it out. All right, cool. Wow, this fight is way easier than the other fights for no reason. Now check this out. This is why we brought Rock Smash or Head Smash. Head Smash here might one-shot as a plus move, and we've got all the HP to work with in the world. Jacinthe does not have a team to worry about. This is basically our ideal situation. Okay, it has Protect. Interesting. Mystical Fire doesn't deal that much damage, so I don't need to worry about it. Might as well... Oh, okay. Yes! Yes! We got through the Protect. It didn't Protect. It was still on cooldown. Easy. That was way easier than I thought it would be, but honestly, everything was just starting to click. My ability to sight read fights was getting better, and even Grishel only took one feint. Easy. Done. Let's go. Second try. Things were turning around. Fights went from taking 1 hour to 2 hours, and now less than 10 minutes. As a joke. As some sick and twisted joke to make me let my guard down. Grisham took 3 hours. He's the second to last major trainer, and he's the first to have 6 phases. But that's not why it took so long. Aside from the difficulty of the phases, there were also multiple opportunities to full heal with leftovers, and even just recovering half HP took almost 2 minutes of perfect dodging. And my dodging was anything but perfect. Phase 1, I started with a plus dig to bypass Pangoro's Protect, and then Flame Wheel, which sometimes even made Pumpkin dodge the Brick Break. Before moving on to Phase 2, however, there's some healing that can be done. Pangoro's tracking move Bullet Punch dealt less damage than leftovers recovered. This let me dodge the other moves and heal very slowly. But there's actually a better way that I found in later attempts. Bullet Punch to the AI counts as a ranged move and is the third in its rotation. But Pangoro's first move was usually off cooldown by then, so the only time it prioritized Bullet Punch was if Pumpkin was out of close range. Since Pangoro had Protect, the AI would also wait some time before attacking in case I did first, which made it really obvious when it was about to attack. I was able to have Pumpkin do little circles just outside of its move's range, but still inside of what the AI considered close range. This caused it to telegraph its moves by running at Pumpkin, but gave me enough time to dodge in response. Healing to full took some time, but once it was done, one more dig through Pangoro's Protect finished it off. In Phase 2, Malamar led with Hypnosis, making Pumpkin drowsy. In this game, that just increases the cooldown of all your moves, but it also doesn't wear off, so to avoid being debuffed for the next 4 phases, I had to lead with Protect. Then comes Liquidation, which is its strongest move against Pumpkin, but easy to dodge. And the next 2 moves, Night Slash and Psyshock, which is a tracking move, don't do much, so Pumpkin is free to Flame Wheel and Head Smash second to take a bit less recoil. For Phase 3, Pumpkin could one-shot Pyroar on a high roll, otherwise he did take some extra damage. But that's actually okay, because the next phase is Tyranitar, which has the most difficult to dodge moves so far, but they're all dodgeable, making it a risky but necessary healing phase. I don't know if it had to do with the size of the Pokemon, but Tyranitar's plus Stone Edge was huge. The only way to dodge it was going in a perfectly straight line from the moment it started to attack. Even a slight deviation in angle was enough for it to hit. So positioning, timing, and luring Tyranitar around the edge of the arena, similar to Ivor's Machamp, was key. This was also where almost every attempt ended. Oh no! I'm out. Ah, what? Oh, okay, hold. And oh no, he got Stone Edge, what? Tyranitar's plus Stone Edge could one-shot Pumpkin, even at full HP. So after healing, I made sure to wait for another Stone Edge before using Dig. That way, Pumpkin only had to take a Crunch and an Earthquake. Barely surviving, but ready for another round of healing. Even though Pumpkin couldn't evolve, I feel like our bond did during this fight. I could feel the tremors of each Earthquake with the same intensity of Pumpkin's tiny body. I could feel the spray of stone after every barely missed Stone Edge. And when the time came to finish off Tyranitar with one final dig, no words were necessary. Pumpkin knew. I wish I could say more about the next 2 phases, but honestly, in the entire 3 hours, I only got this far twice. The first time, all I learned was that Salamence can be one-shot with a plus Head Smash, and that Charizard had Protect. And that was about 2 hours in, so an hour later, when I finally had another chance, tensions were high. Okay, wait, hold on. I can pause for a second because there's dialogue. Oh, okay. That was really good. I need to look back at my notes. Charizard has Protect, so I either use Dig or Flame Wheel. I think I have 2 plus moves, so maybe I use Flame Wheel to get just a little bit of damage off, and I'll make it a plus Flame Wheel. That should go through the Protect. Then I might Protect against Dragon Rush, and then immediately use a plus Head Smash. And if it doesn't one-shot, I have no idea where I'm going after that. There's no dodging Dragon Rush, so it's okay if I'm close. I don't think we can get a burn off because it's going to remain fire type, but here's the Flame Wheel. Oh! Yes! I can't believe it. It's over. He let him clap. Hold on, give him. You know what? I deserve this. We're gonna sit here until 30 hours and 40 minutes and let him clap. One of his fingers is not moving the same with the rest. And for a second, I thought it was the ring finger, like he didn't want to clap and hit the ring against the rest of his hand. But it's not his ring finger. The ring finger is moving with the clap. He has like a completely different finger separated from the clap. At long last, Grisham was defeated. 2 more bosses left, and next up was the final trainer battle of the game, Tawny. Remember when I said I came up with a way to avoid skipping the final rival fight? Well, welcome back to the Team Absol, now named Squash. Squash's sole purpose is to make sure that when Pumpkin faints, the fight doesn't immediately end and I have time to force quit the game. And when I reload the same file, please reload the fight. I don't want to end it like that. I really don't want to end it like that. Oh, yes, we did it. There's a way. I can actually do the final fight. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. It's like it never happened. I could just skip this fight entirely and it would still be true to the original challenge, but honestly, I thought it would be a little anticlimactic even with the final fight later. So, no matter how many alternate timelines we had to traverse, Pumpkin and I decided to take Tawny down. For phase 1, Meowstic starts by setting up with Light Screen and Reflect. Reflect reduces Pumpkin's damage by half for a bit, but that's not really a problem since he spends so much time dodging anyways. The real problems are Meowstic's other two moves. Psychic and Thunderbolt are both tracking, and Thunderbolt has a 10% chance to paralyze, which would be a permanent slow for the rest of the fight, making dodging almost impossible. So as much as it pains me to use 2+ moves this early on, rushing it down was the best option. Goodra was probably the most inconsistent phase of the entire game so far. It leads with Toxic, which Pumpkin can protect, but it also sometimes uses it again before Protect is off cooldown. I say sometimes because I couldn't figure out what caused it or what stopped it from happening. The best I could do was save Protect and sometimes get a sneaky dodge using Dig. The two moves I preferred it to use were Draco Meteor and Blizzard, so I tried to stay as far away as I could in hopes they would be more common and give Pumpkin extra time to recover. Again, at seemingly random times, it would also mix in a Surf, and I couldn't find a way to dodge that either. Sometimes it would miss because Goodra hit a wall, sometimes Dig just barely dodged it, but more often than not, Pumpkin just had to take the hit. Luckily, the next Pokemon was Avalugg. This thing was slow, dodgeable, and had Protect, making for the perfect healing phase. As slow as it was though, its two main attacking moves, Crunch and Stone Edge, had a ton of range. I still think it's something to do with its size, because what is this hitbox? Crunch had more range than Stone Edge, and I'm so confused. Either way, in classic healing phase fashion, Pumpkin used Dig against its Protect, a plus Flame Wheel to reposition, and then healed for a while before finishing it off. Or at least that was the plan. 2 hours in, I was getting a bit impatient and accidentally finished the phase early, leaving Pumpkin with only half HP going into phase 4. Meganium had damage over time via Leech Seed, as well as the tracking moves Giga Drain and Earth Power. So the only option was kill it with fire as fast as possible and hopefully not take too much damage. Manectric could be one-shot with Dig, but this was only my third time getting this far and I was starting to panic. So Pumpkin lost even more HP before the final phase. Mega Feraligatr. The only reason this attempt was still viable is because in the previous two that made it here, I was able to scout out Feraligator's moveset. Bulldoze, Breaking Swipe, and Liquidation were all dodgeable. So with the sketchiest start to any final phase so far, we started dodging and healing. After about a minute, its Mega Evolution ran out, which I didn't even know was possible. I got rid of its Mega Evolution, you can do that? But with all the close calls and failed dodges, it still took another 4 minutes to full heal. That could have been bad. That could have been bad. Everything could have been bad. One more Liquidation and then we're going in. I'm calling it. One more Liquidation. Next Liquidation is the attack phase. Show me a Liquidation. Send it. Send it. Dodge the Bulldoze. Tank that. Yes! Pumpkin, let's go! We did it! Oh my goodness, I don't even know how long that fight took. I kind of want to see though. I'll check later, that was crazy. From start to finish, that final attempt took about 10 minutes. I would say that's a long time, but the final boss of this challenge would take over 10 times that long for a successful attempt. We were in the final stretch now, and the world was kind of ending. Mega Evolutions roamed the streets, and the more things change, the more they stay the same, because Pumpkin and I sat back and relaxed while everyone else handled the situation. The only difference here is that I couldn't recall Pumpkin, so I did have to run around a lot, but having more than one teammate to take the aggro helped. The other reason I did this is because if Pumpkin didn't hit the Pokemon, he also wouldn't get any XP. And after beating Tawny, Pumpkin was only level 90. So with a few things left in the game, I decided that was the level I wanted to win with. Along the way, we also stopped to update our profile picture next to Lumios's famous human ladder, you know, to calm the nerves. But there was no more putting it off. The fate of the world, or at least Lumiose City, hung in the balance, and Pumpkin was ready. Like I said, this is a long fight, like 2 hours for one attempt. But if you can believe it, the first phase of 3 only took 8 minutes. During phase 1, the flowers don't have any infinite ranged moves, so if Pumpkin got hurt, I could just hide behind some cover and wait for leftovers to bring him back to full HP. I had Pumpkin use Dig to approach safely, which for some reason kept placing him on top of the flower, but that might have actually helped, so I'm not complaining. Then after doing some damage, I brought him back to his ball to avoid attacks. Rinse and repeat for both flowers and... Oh no. No, I've made a mistake. I've made a mistake. I took damage and I didn't heal it. That's a little unfortunate. Having less than full HP going into phase 2 was a little terrifying because now the flowers do have infinite ranged moves. It's not quite as bad as phase 3 though, so I was able to very carefully heal Pumpkin one leftovers proc at a time. That said, this isn't something I'll be able to do in phase 3, and even in phase 2 it's risky considering how much time I could lose if I messed up. So instead, we took the long way. Starting in phase 2, Floette has 2 repeating modes. First, both flowers use their various attacks targeting either me or Pumpkin. Then, after exactly 1 minute, they stop attacking briefly before retreating underground and doing a huge AoE that Zygarde protects you from. And that small window of time where they stop attacking is just enough to use 1 or 2 moves during. That's it. That's the whole strategy. Attack, wait, attack some more, wait some more, attack again, wait again, for 2 hours without losing focus. Because while Pumpkin might be in the ball, I wasn't, and I could still take damage from Floette's attacks. That, and I had a stopwatch open because if I didn't take Pumpkin out right as the minute was up, there wasn't enough time to get a hit in. But Pumpkin and I held strong and chipped away at Hyper Rogue Angie Floette 1 flame wheel at a time. Until... Here it is. Here it is! This is it! Get ready! Pumpkin has beaten the game, as only Pumpkin can. The rest of the game has nothing to do with us, it's all cutscene, but Pumpkin, that was the final hit. I know it's anticlimactic because now we're getting the climactic cutscene, but what you just saw was time. That was the end of the game. And just like that, our journey was over. We successfully beat Pokémon Legends Z-A with just ONE Tepig. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'd love to hear what you thought down in the comments, and if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.